welcome to Hobbyist World. I am Gul Panag and I am a hobbyist. I pursue hobby flying, biking and many adventure sports. Hobbyist World is a platform where we showcase and curate hobbies. Joining me today for our very first workshop is Master Hobbyist Aneesh Bhasin. Aneesh is a photographer, an entrepreneur and co-founder of India's first premium mixer artisan brand, Swami. Let's talk to Aneesh. Aneesh, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it for our very first workshop. Aneesh is a professional photographer turned hobby photographer.
Yeah. So for me, it's life coming back a full circle. Photography became a hobby in school. I think I was in 10th standard, got an old film camera of a friend's father, started experimenting, and I think by 11th I knew that this is going to be my profession. And I think shooting for years, so I don't shoot full time, I don't shoot professionally anymore, but I've shot a lot I think I shot for about a good 8-10 years.
Yes, for Johnny Walker, Dom Perignon, Hennessy.
Yes,
and
lots of travel
Starbucks.
work. Lots of travel work. Actually.
Right, and food and
food,
lifestyle.
Yes, absolutely. But I think somewhere photography as a profession for me went away, like I was kind of done with it, and then Swami and other things were happening. But camera phones, everyone has camera phones, and I think iPhones back in the day revolutionized photography there, and that hobby element just came back. Because I think carrying equipment was a bit much.
Right.
Every time you didn't want to carry heavy cameras with you, and the phone camera quality just went berserk. It became so good. So now for me the hobby element's back, and it's so much fun to take pictures, and I think we're at a time where so many pictures are taken on a daily basis. It's crazy. Everyone just takes pictures.
And yet, despite the fact that so many pictures get taken, Aneesh, when one scrolls down an Instagram feed, there are some pictures that talk to you and look incredible, and other pictures just scroll down and slide by. What makes a good picture, and what's the difference between a picture that arrests your attention and one that you just scroll by?
So your basics of photography remain the same, right? Your rules of composition.
I don't know those basics.
All of those remain the same, whether you're shooting on a phone, a camera, anything, doesn't matter. Whether it's video, whether it's stills. And even phones give you a guide about composition. That's what I'm going to talk about today.
They do?
They do. Every iPhone, Pixel, everyone gives you an option to have these grid lines on top that we're going to talk about.
Right.
And if you just follow that, it is so simple. Automatically your pictures will look better. Your pictures will look more symmetrical, the lines will cut better, and you won't know why, but the pictures will just look better. And the moment you get used to it, it is so simple that even if you're taking a picture of a coffee, you will take it keeping that in mind.
The rules of composition. So
Yes.
I've always heard photographers talk about composition, perspective, but I've never really known how it worked. But I do know, I remember reading up before this workshop that you so kindly agreed on. I believe the earlier pictures that were taken with the first cameras were actually meant to replicate paintings.
Yes.
So they had, for example, Rembrandt style of paintings, that depth, that perspective. Is that still how photography is viewed?
So that was more about lighting, but absolutely, yeah. A lot of portraits are shot, in fact one lighting is called the Rembrandt lighting because it replicates how he did his paintings. And with compositions, it just takes everything a step further. So I'm actually going to take you through some of the pictures. So a picture like this, right? You may not figure out the rules immediately, but if I just put these lines on them, and these lines are available on every phone, right? They show up most of the time when you're taking a picture.
Right.
And the whole point is the rule of thirds. So whether you're shooting vertically or horizontally, you're dividing your horizon either here or here. And if you have a subject in focus, you'd want to keep it near these intersecting lines. So,
silver points.
Yeah.
These are the silver points, right?
These 4 points, and if you have a horizon in the picture, you'd either want to break it here or here, but not in the center.
Okay.
So,
rule of third.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is one example of that. This is shot on the Pixel. So most of these pictures are shot on the phone.
Wow.
So again, if you look at this, the line is being cut here.
Ah. And you know this without using the tool of lines.
So once you get used to it, you'll automatically start doing it. But on your phones, just keep that option on all the time. So,
okay.
So if I'd cut it in the center, it would have been something like this. And this looks a lot more interesting.
Right.
This is Bombay.
So this is 1/3?
Yes.
So I got 1/3 here.
Yeah. So here also the horizon is
This is
getting
1/3,
cut
okay.
1/3, right? If this wasn't 1/3, let's say it was this, I'm not sure how it would.
It's still a nice picture. So this looks like it's following the rule of thirds.
Yes. So again, it's not exactly on the line, and it doesn't exactly need to be on the line, but it's close to it. So I'm gonna take you through a few landscape pictures to again keep showing this. Okay, now this is a really good example. Notre Dame.
Oh, yes.
It's in the center.
Right.
But what if it was this?
Nicer,
So,
right?
Yeah. So now, if I look at the composition, it's
in the silver points.
Yeah. So it's not in the center, which would be most people, if they would have shot this, it would have been like this.
That's how I'd shoot it, and no one would stop on my Instagram photograph.
Yeah. Let's look at this. That's Bombay again. Now if I look at this again, the horizon's cutting here.
And I have a question here. You're doing this instinctively, or you're using the tools available in the phone to make the grid? It's called the grid, right?
Yeah, it's called the grid. So for me now, this is very instinctive.
Right.
But the moment you get used to it, you'll realize a very easy way of taking this picture would have been this, cutting it in the center. That's the most instinctive way. A lot of people would have put this up on Instagram.
Right.
And I don't think it looks that good.
You're right.
If I still wanted more of the beach, I would go in tighter and perhaps have the
Still
horizon
have
there.
the rule of third.
Yeah. Here again, there is no defined horizon here because the trees are here and they're going in. But
they
it's
are.
still-
So there's this
but
line
yeah,
here, there's a guiding line
But still
here.
the line is being followed. Do same thing, it's getting cut here.
Oh, yeah.
So it is so simple, and the moment you get used to it, you'll automatically keep doing it. This is Bhutan, again, same thing. It's not exactly on the line, but it's
somewhat,
somewhere there.
yeah. So these are all vacation pictures, or now are you?
Yeah, so this is from photography days, but rest
Okay.
were all vacation pictures. Rest were all on the phone, on the Pixel. This is on my earlier Nikon camera. And in this case, in fact, the horizon is being cut on 1/3.
Right.
And then on the intersection,
Oh,
there's
yeah,
this cactus
yeah.
also.
So this silver point.
Yeah.
So there's actually two ticks here. You've got the silver point as well as you've got the rule of thirds being followed. Interesting.
So I have some more pictures. So these were landscapes. This applies to everything. These are all type of pictures you do on your holidays, right? These are. So
What
here
do you-
again, if I look at this,
Silver point on his head.
So I would actually go ahead and crop this a little bit and make it this,
Right.
and this is absolutely perfect. Then let's look at the other one. This was in Sweden. This is pretty
She's
much.
again.
on point.
She's in the silver point,
So I crop it a little bit more
and the silver point would be right on her forehead,
on her eye.
on her eye.
Where
Okay.
with people, you'd want the
Oh.
intersection to be on the eyes.
Wow.
But it's pretty close
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
just works. This case, again, it's right there on this.
Yes. Yes.
So the moment you get used to it, it is such a simple rule, and you'll actually wonder that how are you not following this?
how do you put these grid lines on in your phone? In your
I
app?
think they're by default anyways, but if they're not, there'll be a setting on
Camera
the
setting.
default camera app. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
This picture has a lot of people in it.
Okay.
But even in this case, she's close by. So what I can actually do is, I would just crop this a bit more.
Ah, and suddenly the picture has so much more character.
Now this looks much better
Yes.
cropped because it's less distracting with these elements also.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that was really simple.
Yeah, it is very simple to do.
Okay.
And these are irrespective of how your lighting is. This is me on the beach. I don't know why I'm showing this. But
Doing
yeah,
yoga. But
Let's say
it's perfect.
again,
I just
it
feel
just
like I've
works.
discovered gravity. It's just so much fun.
And it is so simple. Okay, food. Everyone puts up food pictures.
My food pictures are the worst.
So now this picture needs some work in terms of cropping. So it's a little off the mark.
Okay.
So we just do this
Wow.
and done.
Wow. It's really that simple.
It's that simple.
Nice.
And it's not rocket science at all. And you know, this is maintained in a lot of things. Even if you look at how structures are made, how Roman structures are made, a lot of these principles are followed. And we are so used to it subconsciously that we don't realize.
Oh, so you mean in terms of architecture?
Architecture, yeah.
Interesting.
So I'll give you one more example. Here there's no horizon as such, but this is really interesting. This is
What is
it's
it?
in
What is
Germany.
this?
It's actually
A water body.
Yeah, it's fresh Alps water. You can drink from this. But
Wow.
if I look at the crop, it's somewhere here, right? So I could have just cropped a bit more, and this works.
Stunning. Wow.
So this applies, rules of third applies to every sort of picture. It could be food, it could be people, it could be a landscape, it could be a pet.
So, if I were to summarize two golden rules of taking better pictures, one would be to use the grid
Yes.
in the phone, which I'm going to do right after this.
Absolutely.
And then make sure that my grid is, if it's a person, then my subject
Yeah.
should the grid, the silver point, which is the intersection of the grid, should be on the eye.
Yeah.
And the rule of the thirds in terms of the horizon must be followed.
Yeah, and basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to keep your subject off center.
The subject should be off center. So
Yeah, right.
subject is off center, rule of third for horizon, and the silver spots.
Yeah.
That's three rules.
That's it.
I think that's been fantastic. Anish, I can't thank you enough for
And one
agreeing.
more.
Oh, there's one more. Sorry, the fourth one.
Clean your camera lens on the phone.
Yes.
So important.
Okay, so I think we'll start with clean your camera lens. Follow the rule of thirds when it comes to the horizon. Always turn on the grid in your default camera app in your phone, and try and place the subject off center with the silver point in the eye.
Absolutely.
So let's see if my Instagram pictures get better. Thank you, Anish, for your
Thank
time.
you so
I
much.
really appreciate this. Anish is a master hobbyist who has gone from being a professional photographer to being a hobbyist once again. Thank you for watching.